cougar, and this is a slang term for an older woman who dates significantly younger men. And its offensiveness can be subjective. Some people see it as empowering, and others deeply derogatory, to use that term. So today we're speaking about that, right? Is age just a personal preference, or does it influence who holds emotional, financial, and social control in these particular relationships? Princessa Aggrey is a sex and family therapist joining us from Ghana to have this conversation with us. Princessa, it's a pleasure to have you. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be back here once again. How are you
Yes.
doing?
Oh, we're doing great. Thank you so much for coming back. It's an interesting one indeed, because we don't see it as a norm. But, the good thing is that social media and just the evolution of who we are as social beings, we're starting to speak a little bit more about the different kinds of relationship dynamics. So let's delve into this one. How big should an age gap be for a woman to be referred to as a cougar?
I will say why the word cougar? Okay.
Hmm.
I I say why should you call an older woman a cougar? Okay. Because I see it as being a stereotype, and age has no limit to love. Someone can be 30 and the person is thinking 60 in maturity. So
Hmm.
it depends on how mature the person is. You could have a 50-year-old woman who is thinking as a teenager who has not matured past the teenage stage.
Mm.
So what do you call that person? So why just put the age because the person is older and then the person is a cougar?
Mhm.
I feel societal norms have to evolve. You don't have to call a woman a cougar just because she fell in love with someone whom she's connected to emotionally. So for
Mm.
me, I don't see the age thing there. It's as long as she is mentally, emotionally, and physically physically loving that person
Sure.
and they're vibing on the same frequency, okay, they're good to go. I
Okay.
say it as patriarchal, actually.
That's very interesting. And I want to continue on that age theme, right? Because historically, for us as Africans, it's not such a big deal when I think about it. I've friends who had their mothers who are older than their fathers by maybe more than 5 years, which I think would be a fair definition of what we make reference of a cougar. Maybe it's more than 5 years. I'm not sure, right? Because it's never kind of been something that I've been aware of. But even with those age differences, I've never seen those age differences within those couples, but also their children have never been really disrupted by the age differences of their parents, right? Why do you think in modern society we've taken this Western ideal and we've used it to judge our styles of relationships on the African continent?
I was coming to that because I felt the cougar is a Western term. We had in let me not say all across Africa, but
Hmm.
in Western Africa where I've grown up and I've seen women who are older than their husbands, and you don't even get to know. They're vibing on the same level.
Hmm.
The respect is there, the honor is there. You don't even know maybe until when the woman has the birthday party or when you go in house, you know this woman is older than the husband by 5 to 10 years. It's a normal thing in the African society that a man can walk up to an older woman who is not married or who is single and say, I like you, I love you. And they will go on a relationship. But I see it as a Western culture of look, let's go back to the 1920s and the 1930s and 50s. We still had the Westerners getting married. They had child marriages. 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 11-year-olds were being given out were actually sold as marriage. But
Mm.
here in Africa, we had our girls. I don't know if it's the same in South Africa, where you have the coming into womanhood culture. And that womanhood culture, you see these girls, they're around 14, 15, 16, right? That's when they have these festivals where you come into the womanhood culture and stuff like that. We didn't give off child brides. No, you can be betrothed, but it's a Western thing that they see an older woman in love with a younger man as something that is some way be as we'll say in Ghana, as if it's off. But they are okay with an older man marrying or being in relationship with a 19-year-old. What is it? Okay, why are you worried that a 60-year-old woman is in love with a 30-year-old man or a 20-something-year-old man, but you are comfortable with a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old being in relationship with a 70-year-old? Come on, let's balance the equation.
Yeah.
Let's just balance it.
And I'm going to come in here because there are points that, I disagree with you in, Princessa. The fact that you say, there's balance. And yes, child marriages, and I'll say specifically girl marriages, still happen here on the African continent and all over the world, which in my personal opinion should be illegal because there isn't real consent. And I want to speak about that, the power dynamics, because I don't want to just look at it, if men can do it, women should be able to do it too. Let's speak about the real power dynamics of age gaps just in general, which can exist even if women take those particular decisions. There are legal ages for a reason in our societies, and there are ages of consent for a reason, because power dynamics of particular age groups, especially with those who are seen as children, can cause real issues in that relationship but also in broader society. Let's talk about that, how consent can play a factor when it comes to power dynamics of the age ranges that can be unkosher, for lack of a better word.
Okay, for the power dynamics, let's come here, because I wasn't even thinking in the aspect of predation. I was thinking of the cougar is someone who is an older woman with a man who has crossed the 20s.
Yeah.
Okay, let me say 5 to 10 year gap in age. That's how I see the cougar thing. But now let's come to the power dynamics when it comes to predation. When I hear the word cougar, I don't think predation. It's different for me. Like, there are women who prey on boys. They are there. You are not
Absolutely.
a cougar.
Yeah.
You are a predator. Okay? You are a predator. I think they give the name cougar because the animal cougar predates on children. If I don't know, if you watch Nat Geo Wild, you see that mostly when the cougar comes close to a town, it's always taking the children.
Okay.
And I think, yes, it's always taking the children. I think they put that on the women. And I don't know why they didn't put it on the men.
Yeah. Yeah.
If an older man is told, what should we, or rather, the men are called sugar daddies. Why are they called sugar daddies?
Yeah. So, okay, let's take a break. Let's take a break, Princessa. We'll come back. I think that's such an interesting point because you're correct. The term cougar on its own can be highly disrespectful, especially because of, the kind of animal this woman is being associated with. But I want us to come back and look at different dynamics as well. Someone who's older, has matured in their life, might have a more permanent career, might have more money, and money dynamics can also come into play in those relationships, particularly relationships of legal consent, which is what we're referring to in this particular segment. It's 20 minutes past 10 Central Africa time. What do you refer to as a cougar? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Go to our live streams on Facebook and on YouTube.
Channel Africa is moving with the times, and so is our WhatsApp line. We've changed our WhatsApp number, making it even easier for you to stay connected. Send us your voice notes, comments, shout outs, and song requests to our new WhatsApp number, +27 83 288 6684. That's +27 83 288 6684. Save it, share it, and stay in the conversation. Channel Africa, the African perspective. 9 to 12 midday, Central African Time. On the Move with Palesa and Benjamin Moshatama.
Hey, 21 minutes past 10 o'clock Central African Time. Princessa is with us, a sex and family therapist all the way from Ghana. We're speaking Cougar relationships we are putting inverted commas on the Cougar because that's the question that we're asking around it. And I love that Princessa was speaking around the fact that a Cougar is actually an animal. We know that it's one of those rare adaptive cat natives to the geographies of Americas and Canada or even South America. And it was interesting that she was highlighting that a cougar preys on young creatures and also children. That's very interesting to make that comparison, that this is where it derives from, this phrase cougar. But let's examine it a little bit more. And Princessa, you know, it has a little bit more interesting nuances here in South Africa. We've got what we call a Ben 10 culture in South Africa, where you have younger men who are attracted to more mature, to a woman who's probably more financial stable, who has reduced demands, and there's no traditional norms or commitments in that relationship, right? And the cougar is the lady who probably wants a little bit more less stability as well in that relationship, wants a young man for less committed means, and maybe also for the sex. Let's not run away from that as well. Those are power dynamics that are interesting because the dynamics have non-attachment ideals around them. What's your take to that kind of situation?
Okay. Like we clarified that we should know what a cougar is. Either is a woman predating on a younger man, or it's going in there for real love and affection. Now, you talked about the Ben 10 culture in South Africa. When you said Ben 10, I could remember when my son, years back, he's now an adult.
Yes.
You know, he loved the Ben 10, and I thought Ben 10 just changes into a monster to fight bad people. I'm so surprised to hear he's taking a different connotation. Now let's look at it. Why is it all boils down to motives. It all boils down to intention. Am I going in for a younger man because I want less stability? I just want the fun of sex and go off. There are people like that. And then are they also women who are attracted to these younger men because this younger man thinks more maturely than the older men, the men of our age think? Let's also look at also that dynamic. I can't forget the fact that there are young men who their primary assignment, they have decided that that's their primary assignment, that they just want older ladies who have money so that they won't have to ask, what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's the bringing to the when they bring into the table culture. That's what I call it. They bring into the table culture is what is causing this dynamics to evolve. Because way back there was no table. There was no table.
Yeah.
But right now our youth are discussing, what are you bringing to the table? And I used to tell my adult children, I have 2 adult children, and my daughter came to tell me one day she had a date, and then she said, "Oh, mommy, this guy's asking me what am I bringing to the table?" And I'm like, "What's that?"
Yes.
You are a whole person. He is a whole person. Like, you have to. Why must there be something to give? Can't you just be 100% yourself in the relationship without expecting so much financially from the other person? You have a head, you have a brain. If you're looking for finances, if you're looking for support, go back to your family and ask for support. Why are you looking for support from the other gender or from someone whom you are in a relationship with?
Yeah.
Let's look at those things again. Why? Because now we are seeing relationship as a business contract, as something you have to either make money or something you have to gain status from. No, That is why we are having issues. That's why we are having lots of divorces now, more than before, because of the intentions.
Now,
Some of the young men will go into these ladies. These ladies will love them with their whole heart, but the young man is going in there for the money. I'm going in there for the status. I'm going in there just to give this woman sex, and then she gives me money and all that, and off I go. But some young men don't do that. They just love these women genuinely, and they go about it. Like you said earlier on, you get to find out that some of your friends, their parents, their mothers were older than their fathers by 5 years, and you didn't get to know until later.
Princessa,
But
you know,
they,
sometimes in these relationships, you as partners have already negotiated what your needs are. You're happy to be together. You whatever the terms of engagement are, you all consent in those terms of engagement. But where the problem lies is with the people on the outside, your friends, your family members. I don't know how many Nollywood movies I've seen where a boy or a man brings his older female partner to his family, and the mother-in-law says, absolutely not, I will not allow you to marry this old woman. And your friends like, what are you doing? There's so many amazing young women out there. Let's speak about dealing with the dynamics of the people on the outside who have a lot of stigmas and misconceptions about the relationship dynamic when the woman is older and the man is younger.
Now, let's look at it. You talked about our media also has created that culture where they see a younger person being involved, a younger man being involved with an older woman and something bad. I think how the media has created that culture. Now, those stigmas were not necessarily there when they found that why is there no stigma when the guy brings in a white lady?
Yeah.
That's a question to ask.
Or a younger woman as well.
Yes, but you will see our boys, our African boys, will be emotionally involved, even marrying women older than their grandmas, but they won't even give a stick. They won't give a stick to someone who is 5 years older than them, who is a black woman. So I see it as double standard. I honestly see it as double standard. Because why will you complain when it's a black woman that your son or your person, your friend, is being involved with, who is older than him? But when he brings a Caucasian grandma home, all of you are happy. All of you are rejoicing.
All right, Princessa, we have to leave it there. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, and I think you've added another layer of race there. That's interesting. But thank you for joining us on this one. Just before we say goodbye to you, because you've given us so many ways of thinking about this one, where can people find you if they want to get into some of the content, or maybe if they want to consult you?
Oh, you can find me on Facebook. Okay. Just the name, Princessa Aggrey. It's just there. My name, you find me on Facebook, and then you find me on Twitter. That's where you could find me. Just find me on Facebook. You will see me. Or if you just put hashtag Sessa, you will find me everywhere with my troubles and everything,
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Princessa, thank you so much for joining us on this one. Princessa Aggrey is a sex and family therapist all the way from Ghana. Hey, what do you think about it? Do you think Cougar relationships are more mainstream right now? Or do you think we as Africans have taken a foreign term and now we are using it in our own African context? Let us know on our WhatsApp number, +27 83 288 6684. It's 10:30 Central African Time. Muzibudi Makura joins us now to give us the latest sports.